Hello everyone, and thank you for taking time to watch this short video on the Cashbook application available within our Opera 3 products. We'll have a look at what it can do, how it works, and what advantages using the Cashbook application can bring to our customers. My name is Steve Power, and I'm a solutions consultant here at Pegasus Software, and I hope you find this session interesting and informative. The Cashbook is an extension of the nominal ledger, and it is where you set up all of your company's bank accounts. Unlike the nominal ledger, these are true bank accounts in that they have details of the bank, contact information, account balances, and so on. As you can see here, there is a complete list of our bank accounts that are in use within this particular Opera 3 company. Some of these bank accounts might be in different currencies, such as Euro or US dollars. But it's not all about bank accounts. You can also set up your petty cash accounts as well to monitor transactions that are running through those particular accounts. In this example, we have two petty cash accounts, one for the main business running through the accounts office and another that is in the sales office. It's all about flexibility. However, the beauty of the Cashbook is its integration across the financial applications within Opera 3. From the sales ledger, these bank accounts are updated with receipts from your customers and payments made back to customers in the form of refunds. This is a two-way process in that you can enter these transactions directly in the sales ledger, but you can also enter them in the Cashbook, which might be more logical in that you might be batching all of the receipts received today and entering them in one run. So instead of finding each individual customer, as you would in the sales ledger, you might just want to enter them in bulk by adding these receipts received in the Cashbook and assign them to each of your customers. This might be quicker, saving you both time and money. Similarly, the payments you make to your suppliers or the refunds you receive from them can be entered in the purchase ledger by creating them individually for each supplier. But again, you can also do them in bulk within the Cashbook. This is the sort of added functionality that makes the Cashbook such a compelling application for any user of the Opera 3 financials, and you should all go and take a look at this. But equally, if you're looking for a modern and highly functional ERP system, then the Cashbook application in Opera 3 shows you how a fully integrated solution provides you with the tools to enhance the way in which you process cash within your business. If you're using the Opera 3 payroll, then as part of this integration philosophy, payments made by the payroll will update the relevant bank account in the Cashbook. It is possible to assign different groups of workers to have their payroll payments made from different bank accounts. For instance, directors' pay might be taken from a different bank account to those used for other staff within the business. The Cashbook is not only concerned with cash flowing in and out of those bank accounts when linked to the other applications within Opera 3, but there are also other transactions that will directly hit the bank account as well. There may be payments such as standing orders for rent, maybe direct debits for the electricity and gas, and so on. All these types of transactions will hit the bank account and can therefore be set up as recurring entries and posted directly from within the Cashbook. And of course, in any business, you need to ensure that the bank balances are accurate and up to date. Therefore, the other function of the Cashbook is allow you to reconcile the bank statement to the transactions that are recorded in that bank account. This allows cash to be actively monitored to ensure the bank balances are accurate. Okay, let's hop across into Opera 3 and let's have a quick look around the Cashbook application. And let's see some of the major features that make this such a useful tool for any type of business to use. Now remember, the Cashbook is designed to give you much tighter control over your bank accounts and provides up-to-date information on any number of bank accounts and petty cash accounts that you've created. So if we go into the processing part within the Cashbook, here we can see a list of the bank accounts that we've set up. So it's all about managing these bank accounts effectively by providing tighter control over your money. You can have an unlimited number of bank accounts, and with each of these accounts, you can interrogate the transactions that are being posted. As you can see, we can have multi-currency accounts. So in this example, I've got a Euro bank account, I've got a US dollar bank account, as well as my main sterling bank account that's on here. If we look at a particular bank account, And here we go. We can see the sort of integration that's happening here. So we can see that it's linked into the payroll for some payroll payments. We can see that it's linked into the sales side for sales receipts coming through. And we can also see that it's linked into the purchase ledger for payments we've made through to our suppliers. Here we can see from the payroll perspective, we can see that there's been a BACS payment made to some of our employees. We can see that there's been a check payment made. Similarly, from the sales side, we can see that there's been BACS receipts coming into this particular bank account. And we can also see that we've made BACS payments through to our suppliers. For each of these transactions in the Cashbook, we can drill down into the details by selecting this transaction tab. So for this payroll BACS payment, if we select the transaction tab, we can see that it's an auto pay payment for week 48. And we can see that it was paid upon the 7th of March to somebody called M. Johnson. If we look at the check payment within the payroll, and again look at the transaction, here we can see the details of this particular payment. We can see the check being paid to this person on that particular date. Similarly, if we go into the BACS sales receipt and look at the transaction there, we can see the customer, we can see the date, and we can see the payment value. And if we look at the purchase side, we can see who the supplier was, we can see the date of that payment through to that supplier. Now remember, accounts in the nominal ledger can be marked as private, in which case if I had a bank account which I pay the directors from, then I could mark it as private, in which case standard users of the system can be excluded from accessing and viewing that account, i.e. that bank account, so it can be made secure. In addition to the existing payment routines within the sales ledger for sales ledger receipts and refunds, these can also be entered directly from within the Cashbook. So let's post one of those receipts to one of my customers. So I select the sales ledger posting. Who's the customer? Adams Light Engineering. The reference. This is week 47 bank run. The value is going to be £120, and I'm going to part pay this first invoice for £1,200. I'm going to pay £120 against that. And post it. So this has posted that transaction, but I can instantly go back and post the next transaction, which means that this is probably quicker than using the sales ledger to make such payments. Similarly, I can also post purchase payments and refunds by taking the purchase ledger posting option. Again, I'm going to choose one of my suppliers. I'm going to choose Carter's. And again, this is my week 47 payment run. Again, I'm going to pay £120 to Carter's. And I'm going to pay £120 off that first invoice. So in which case, again, I'm going to part pay that invoice. So this has posted that transaction as well, but I can instantly go back and post the next transaction in the purchase ledger. However, this is probably not quicker than using the bulk payment routines that come as standard within the purchase ledger, but you've got a choice. You can also create checks and back payments from within the Cashbook for things such as sales refunds and nominal ledger payments. So, as an example, you may have other payments such as a charity payment that you wish to make. You may not want to set that charity up as a supplier, but you still want to make a payment to that charity. So we can use the nominal ledger payment posting routine to achieve this. So if I go into nominal postings, what type is this? Well, I'm going to say that this is going to be a payment. It's going to be a nominal ledger payment. And the reference is going to be, it's a Cashbook payment week 47, and it's my second run. It's going to be £500, and I'm going to make this payment to Feed the Children Fund. Okay. I want to print a remittance advice. I want to print the remittance advice to Feed the Children. I'm going to make it a BACS payment. I will set up a reference number for that. So a BACS payment to that account, that sort code with that reference number. And I'm going to say, where am I posting this to in the nominal ledger? Well, I'm going to post this to my charitable donations for £500. And I'm going to save that away. And here we go. Here's the audit trail for that particular transaction. I can therefore go through for that under the Cashbook reports. I could create my BACS list, publish it to screen. And if we look here, I'm going to find my feed. And here we go. Here's that BACS payment for £500 to Feed the Children Fund. And once I have that audit trail, I can therefore go through and I could create the remittance advice. So here's the remittance advice. I could print this remittance advice, or equally, I could email that remittance advice through to Feed the Children. Once I've done that, then the system would allow me to go through and transmit that BACS file across through to my bank for submission. So an integrated solution that allows me to enter payments directly into the Cashbook via a nominal payment and print the check or make the BACS payment as required, together with the relevant audit trails for all of the above as you run them through the system. The same also would go for sales refunds, but without the Cashbook, you can't create BACS files or checks from the system for these types of transactions. You'd have to do them manually, but within the Cashbook, it provides this sort of facilities. Another method of rapid data entry is the batch processing option from within the Cashbook. Let's create a new processing option on here. This is very useful as you can use it as a rapid method of entering in, for example, sales receipts. So you get your post in the morning or emails with remittance advices of payments that have been made that day. You collate them all together, but instead of going to each sales account within the sales ledger, entering the receipt, posting the receipt, finding the next account, entering the receipt, posting the receipt, and so on, you can do this in bulk within the Cashbook. So let's create a new bulk posting routine. I'm going to call the reference, it's going to be my Cashbook week 47. Posting. The source is going to be for the, and I'm going to select the sales ledger, but equally it could be the purchase ledger and the nominal ledger. What type is it? Well, I'm going to say it's a receipt. And I'm going to set the Cashbook type to be a payslip receipt. Posting value. So in this batch, let's say there was £1,000 that have come through. And the comment I'm going to say is week 47 sales receipts. Okay, so who's the first customer? So I'm going to say that this is Adams Light Engineering. That's the payment date. It's a receipt. And it's for invoice number 1033. And it was a check, let's say it was for £500. It was for that particular invoice here, so I can simply say part pay, £500 on that. Okay, let's go to the next account. This is going to be Neil Auto Parts. This is going to be another receipt. Whatever invoice number it happens to be. This is for £250. That was this particular invoice here, so part pay that invoice £250. Okay, and let's go on to the next one. Who's the next one? Well, this is going to be Youngs of Edinburgh. Reference. And this is for £250. That's the invoice, so part pay £250 off that invoice. And let's mark that as complete. And let's print out the audit trail report. And as you can see, this is rapid data entry of sales receipts, much quicker than can be achieved within the sales ledger. So another advantage that the Cashbook brings to the table. Standing orders, direct debits and other recurring bank transactions can be set up to be automatically handled by the Cashbook. If we go into this recurring option here, we can see for this particular bank account, we can see the recurring transactions that have been set up. If I double click this monthly standing orders, I can see that this is a purchase payment. I can see that the frequency has been set up to be once a month, but it could be set up to be weeks, or it could be even set up to be days. We can see that it was last posted on the 28th of Feb. Next posting date is the 28th of March. So once a month, it will make these particular transactions. If we drill down into the transactions, we can see that we will be making payments to Kettering Borough Council, Midlands Water Authority, and a whole list of other companies that are detailed within this particular list. If I go into the post recurring option, here I can see a list of all these recurring payments. And here we can see that we've got the monthly standing orders. Let me just post the monthly standing orders. So I'm selecting to post the monthly standing orders. Do I want to post this entry? Yes, please. And I'm going to print the related document through to screen. And here we can see the audit trail for those postings. So we can see that it's making payments directly through to Kettering Borough Council, Midlands Water Authority, with whatever the comments happen to be, together with all of the other transactions. So here we can see some of these have been created as direct debits, as purchase back payments, and so on. If we go back to the recurring option, post recurring, we can now see that the monthly standing orders is no longer included in this list. And that's because we've set it up to be posted once a month. When we get into next month, then it will reappear for posting for that particular month. Again, this demonstrates another advantage of the Cashbook that it can bring through to an organisation. In this case, it's about posting recurring payments in one batch. One of the key features within the Cashbook application is the ability to reconcile all of these payments, receipts, refunds, and any bank transfers made in your Cashbook against the transactions on your bank statements. Because without the ability to reconcile against your bank statements, you have no idea if your accounts are correct. So when you have your bank statement, you can go in and you can tick off all of the lines from the bank statement against the transaction lines in the Cashbook account. Having to do this manually or through a spreadsheet is very time consuming, but doing this in the Cashbook is much quicker because it's optimized to carry out this function. So when we run this function, to reconcile for this particular bank account, the first thing it does is it asks me, do I want to post recurring entries? Those are what we looked at a moment ago for direct debits such as rates, electricity, gas, insurance, council tax, and so on. You would want to run these because they will appear on the bank statement and therefore need to be included in this reconciliation routine. So I'm going to say yes, post them. Note, it's given me a list of those recurring payments, but it's removed the monthly standing order postings from this list. This is because we've already posted that a few minutes ago, and it won't duplicate that in this posting routine. So this is exactly what I'd expect it to do. Okay, so let's go through and let's select all of these. Let's post the entry, and it wants to generate the audit trail report, which I will print through to screen. Here we go. Here's the audit trail report that has been produced for those recurring entries. The next thing it asks me to do is to enter the balance as it appears on the bank statement. So I'm going to say that value is £370,000. This determines the balance remaining for the reconciliation. When the balance, after marking entries for reconciliation, matches the statement balance you enter here, then you've completed the reconciliation. So I'm now going to say OK to this. And here it takes me to the lines within the Cashbook itself. So these are all the transactions within the Cashbook. And what I can do is, if they appear on the bank statement, I can select them from this list. So for instance, if that bank's payment appeared on there, then I'd simply press the space bar. That check has, as has that, as has that. And I simply go through, select all of the transactions that are appearing on this particular list. So there's another check that's on there, and whatever the sales receipts, credit card receipts, and whatever else appears on the bank statement itself. Now, another one of the advantages you have within the Cashbook that is if you have bank charges or interest or transactions in your bank account that your Cashbook isn't aware of, then you can add these into the bank account directly from within the reconciliation routine. It's quick and it's simple. So let me show you. Let's assume that we have some bank interest charges. So how would I post them directly into the Cashbook? Well, I would simply select this post option. And it says, what type of transaction are you going to post? Is it a normal transaction? Is it a sales transaction, a purchase transaction? In my example here, I'm going to say it's a nominal transaction. I will publish the audit trail report through to screen. It's a payment. It's going to be a nominal payment, and I will give it a reference for a direct posting. The value, the interest they've charged me is £167.02, and my comment is going to be something like bank interest Q4 2014. And I'm going to OK that. Here, I could generate things like remittance advices, a check, a backs payment, but because this is bank interest, they've already directly taken that from my bank account, so I don't need to generate any of those type of documents. The next thing it's going to ask me is, which nominal account do I want to post that transaction against? Well, I want to post that against my bank interest charged account. So here's my nominal account, bank interest charge. Yep, that's the account. What's the value? It was £167.02. Bank interest for Q4. Yeah, that's a good description. In which case, I'm now going to post that transaction. I get the audit trail report of that bank interest being charged. And then it takes me back to the reconciliation routine where I can go through and I can select these various balances that are on there. Now, this is an active grid, so it gives me the ability to go through and sort this in different ways. So I could sort it by date, ascending or descending, to help me track down these transactions. I could also sort it by reference, and I'll sort it ascending by reference. Notice what I also have therefore is that transaction I've just posted. It was that direct to that 00 direct for £167.02. That now appears in these lists of transactions to allow me to select it because it exists on this particular bank statement. And I'll select that one in this example. Now notice, however, this difference field here has been set to 0. In other words, the transactions that I've selected in this reconciliation match up to the balance I set on the statement when I first started this process. In other words, it's telling me it's reconciled. The transactions within the cash book match the transactions on the bank statement. If I've not finished reconciling this bank account, then I can save it away and come back to it at any other time and finish it off. But once I've finished off, then the balances will match and the entries are reconciled so that I now know that the bank account is accurately matching the bank statement. And that's the whole point of the cash book, an accurate reflection of the cash within your bank account. Once we finish the reconciliation, I can say OK, and it gives me the option to print out the bank reconciliation. And I'm going to print this through to screen. And here we see all of the transactions that have been reconciled against that particular bank statement. And finally, let's have a look at a couple of reports that come as part of the Cashbook application. The first report I'm going to run is the Cashbook report itself. I'm going to run it for all bank accounts, summary of the unreconciled transactions. And for this report, I'm going to publish it through to screen. And as we can see here, it shows a list of the transactions for each bank account, this one being the main bank account. It shows the transaction type, so a purchase backs, a payroll check, a sales backs receipt, and it also shows you the value of that transaction, and it also has the balance on the bank account itself. Also shows us the overall totals, the reconciled, the unreconciled, and the current balance on that particular account. If I rerun that same report, but this time I take the detailed version and print it through to screen, I can see that the detailed version has additional information. This time it shows information such as the nominal account that this transaction is being posted to. It shows you the bank account that it's being paid into, and it also shows you things such as the payee, as well as the various figures associated with that. So more detailed information that comes as part of that report. Next report we're going to have a look at is going to be the income and expenses. I'm going to run this report to screen for the weekly version. And if I print the weekly version through the screen, I can see that it shows me the expenses and the income on a week basis. So it looks over the past 8 weeks, showing me the total income. It shows me the total expenses, the funding and transfers, and therefore the net income expenditures across the last 8 weeks, and therefore an overall total at the end. If, however, I run that same report, but I run it monthly, publish to screen, here I can see the same information, but now it's over the past 8 months, showing me the income, expenses, transfers, and therefore the net income expenditure. And of course, if I run that report one last time, but quarterly, through the screen, it shows me the same figures, but based upon the past 8 quarters. So again, a useful report to show you that type of analysis. Okay, let's run another report. This time I'm going to run the Cashbook analysis. I'm going to run this for the unreconciled transactions, and I can be selective for the types of transactions, the bank account, and the type of transactions that are to be included in this report. In this case, I'm going to send it for all unreconciled transactions in that date range for the main bank account. And I'm going to send this report through to screen again. And this shows me all the unreconciled transactions that have yet to be reconciled against the bank statement for this particular bank account. And finally, let's have a look at the bank account list. I'm going to do it for all the bank accounts. Again, send it through the screen. And here it shows you the details of each of the bank accounts in a summary form. So I can see the bank account, I can see the sort code, I can see the various details of that. But I can also see for each bank account the reconciled, the unreconciled values, and the current balance on each of the accounts that are on there. As you can see, there's a whole host of useful reports to help you control your bank accounts and manage your cash flow effectively. Now that we've had a quick look at the Cashbook application, let's bring it back together and let's have a summary of the benefits you will see by implementing this within your Opera 3 system. The Cashbook is an application that is used to control your bank accounts. So if you have the Cashbook, anything that touches your bank accounts will be done through the Cashbook rather than through your nominal accounts. It's all about managing your bank accounts effectively, providing tighter control over your money in those accounts. Knowing that the cash you have in your bank account is accurate and up to date is critical for any business to help support the management decisions that need to be made. And that is what the Cashbook application provides. The Cashbook is a fully integrated application giving constant, up-to-date information on any number of bank and petty cash accounts that have been created within the Opera 3 nominal ledger. These bank accounts are updated with receipts from customers and payments to suppliers. In fact, all monetary transactions. There will be other payments, such as standing orders for rent and rates, direct debits for business rates, refunds payable to customers. All of these transactions will hit the bank accounts within the Cashbook, either in real time or as a batch update, depending upon how you configure your system. Bank accounts can also be set up in different currencies for multi-currency processing if you have the multi-currency feature activated. The Cashbook allows you to reconcile the bank statements to the transactions that are recorded within the bank account. This allows cash to be actively monitored to ensure the bank balances are accurate and up to date, because without the ability to reconcile your bank statements, you have no idea if your accounts are accurate. In addition, if there are other charges on the bank statement, such as interest or bank charges, then these can be added directly within the reconciliation routine to save time, but also to make sure that the bank account is accurate. You can also leave the reconciliation routine at any time and come back to it and complete it later. It is also possible to make payments directly from within the Cashbook for things such as sales refunds and nominal payments. For example, if you want to make a payment such as that to a charity, then this can be made directly from within the Cashbook. But it also allows you to produce a remittance advice along with the creation of the BACS payment or maybe a cheque. So it is a quick and simple way to make such payments, which is one of the features you would expect from a good Cashbook application. It is also possible to use the Cashbook to make rapid data entry for entering things such as sales receipts. You can collate all of the remittance advices and payments made in the day, but instead of going to each sales ledger account and entering the receipt, posting the receipt, find the next account and enter the next receipt and so on, you can do this in bulk from within the Cashbook, saving you time and making this a much easier operation to perform. The Cashbook allows the posting of recurring bank transactions, such as standing orders and direct debits. Simply put a list of these together, and these can be posted in bulk. You can define the posting periods to be things such as daily, weekly, monthly, and so on. Once set up, then these can be automatically posted by the Cashbook. Ideal for postings such as those recurring monthly transactions such as insurance, electricity, rent, lease charges, and so on. As you've seen, the Cashbook is an integrated solution to help you control your bank accounts and manage your cash flow, an essential tool for effective cash management within any business. For further information, please contact Pegasus at info@pegasus.co.uk and we'll get back to you. Alternatively, if you're an existing Pegasus customer, then you could have a chat with your Pegasus partner. It finally leaves me to say thanks for watching this video. I hope you found the information contained within useful. See you soon.